Okay, let's unpack this. You know, when you send a text with a typo, it's usually no big deal.
Right, the worst you get is a confusing autocorrect fail or something.
Exactly. But imagine taking that same typo and carving it into the side of a marble government building. Suddenly, that tiny mistake is, well, it's permanent institutional law.
Which is a terrifying thought.
Right. So today's deep dive is about exactly that. We're looking at a piece by Aries Chan called The Hyphens Cost, Precision in Legislative Records Management. And our mission is to discover how a single, seemingly harmless punctuation mark triggered a multi-step legislative action.
And the punctuation mark we were talking about here is a rogue hyphen. Specifically, it was shoved into the middle of a Latin phrase.
Oh, the phrase speaker pro tempore.
Yes, the correct term is speaker pro tempore, which is really just the title for the person who temporarily steps in to lead a legislature. Two separate words. But in this case, official documents had it written as speaker pro tempore with a hyphen.
Which, I mean, it sounds so incredibly minor.
It does.
But this was spotted during a 2-day legislation seminar in the province of La Union in the Philippines. And the panic wasn't just over a sticky note. This rogue hyphen had already made its way into 3 separate 2023 provincial ordinances.
Yeah, specifically ordinance numbers 428, 429, and 430.
Wait, those were the actual official laws naming public facilities after the late Congressman Francisco Ortega, right? They were enacted records.
Exactly, which is where the tension really ratchets up. Because once a mistake like that is enacted, it doesn't just sit there. In an institutional archive, an error actually multiplies because of a really dangerous concept called false authority.
False authority. So, like, people see it in an official document and just assume it's grammatically correct because, well, the government wrote it.
Yes, and then they use it as a template. Picture a legislative clerk 10 years from now drafting a brand new bill.
Okay.
They need to reference the speaker pro tempore, so they pull up one of these 2023 ordinances as a guide. They copy and paste the title, rogue hyphen and all.
Oh, wow. And by the 3rd or 4th time it's repeated in new laws, it looks completely intentional.
Right. That's how a typo becomes an institutional habit.
Even so, let me play devil's advocate for a second. I can hear people listening to this and thinking, isn't this just a grammar complaint?
Sure, people say that a lot.
Right. Like, everyone still knows what the title means, hyphen or no hyphen. Why couldn't someone just, open the Word document, hit backspace, and hit save? Why go through all this red tape for a hyphen?
Well, what's fascinating here is that in legislation, just grammar is a dangerous concept. Technical errors literally break systems. Think about digital indexing.
Like database search functions.
Exactly. If a public database is programmed to search for the words pro tempore, a computer system will treat the hyphenated version as a completely different, unrecognizable string of characters.
Oh, I see. So that document essentially becomes invisible in the digital archive.
It does. On top of that, the official signage on the new buildings, the certificates, the historical archives, they all inherit that exact same defect.
So someone catches this at the seminar and the realization sets in. But if these are official ordinances, how do you actually fix them?
It's tricky.
Yeah, because if they are passing new resolutions to erase a hyphen, aren't they technically changing the law? I'd imagine that opens the door for politicians to use the opportunity to sneak in other changes or just restart a massive debate over the building names.
That is the exact trap the local council, the Sangguniang Panlalawigan, had to navigate. They had to pass formal directives to repair the text without reopening the political floor.
How did they do that?
They did it by relying on the crucial difference between a substantive correction and a ministerial correction.
Substantive meaning changing the actual meat of the law, like altering legal rights, obligations, or policy intent.
Correct. A substantive change requires a full debate, but a ministerial correction is purely clerical. It's fixing a spelling error or standardizing a format.
Oh, okay.
So the council passed SP Resolution No. 0210-2026, which adopted the committee report. And then they passed NIDO 2011-2026, which was the formal directive to actually fix the ordinances.
So by framing the fix entirely around records management and standardization, it just totally avoids bruised egos or defensiveness.
Exactly. It wasn't framed as a personal attack on whoever drafted the original error. It stopped any political grandstanding and just cleanly repaired the public record.
It really reframes the idea of being a stickler for grammar. True precision in government is quiet. Catching a small error doesn't usually earn you a round of applause, but, it protects the integrity of the entire system.
And it stops future generations from building on a foundation of copied mistakes. It highlights how vulnerable our established systems are to tiny, unchecked inaccuracies.
Which leaves you with a final thought to ponder today. If a single hyphen can become institutionalized law simply by being copied and pasted over and over, how many established facts, procedures, or rules in your own workplace are actually just inherited typos that nobody ever bothered to question? Are you chiseling mistakes into marble just because the person before you did?